Happy Halloween, everyone. And today, for Halloween specials, I am going to be doing something different. So, last Halloween, I played a video game for, Halloween, of course. And it was very disappointing, and I feel really bad about that still. So, rather than playing a video game, I am going to be reading you spooky stories. the first one is the first one would be about a Celtic folklore story, which I really like. It's something about I just really enjoy. Then after that, I'm gonna be reading you some stories written by a Wattpad artist. So, and then I'll be finishing the night with some of my own spooky stories. I wrote the folklore story down because if there's different variations depending on where you're at. So this is the version that I've been told, so I'm gonna read that. So let's get into it. The story of the Derek Dew. She belongs to Celtic folklore. Once there was a beautiful young noblewoman who was in love with a peasant man. Her family didn't approve, and instead forced her to marry a wealthy old man. The peasant man said he'll save her. The wealthy man kept her locked in a stone room. The only time he would visit her is to feed her or to bleed her. He would sit her down and put a knife to her pale skin. It would cut her. He took joy in her pain. She hated him and hated the way she was treated. She even hated her own family. She remembered the words of her beloved peasant and waited for him. She waited and waited and waited. But he never came. One day she died of exposure due to all the injuries inflicted upon her. The whole village wept for her. They wanted to save her, but didn't know how. The people believed that you had to put stones on a fresh grave to prevent them from rising again. The villagers were so full of despair, they forgot to put stones upon her grave. That night she came back. The girl the people knew was very sweet and nice, but a horrible death will lead to a vengeful spirit. She became a vampire. In order to kill her victims, she would sing a song. They would become entranced by her and would follow her into the forest. When they were hypnotized and out of reach, she would strike. The only way to keep her from coming back each night was to put stones on her grave before sunset, though no one is sure if the tradition is still done. So, begs the question, is she still around? Her first victim was said to be the peasant. I hope you like that. I do. I'm a sucker for folklore. I mainly go into the Scandinavian folklore and American folklore, but I do dabble in other kinds of folklore, and the Derek Dew story always intrigued me. Not sure why. You can tell I'm wearing a witch's hat. Like, I've had this, I don't know how I got this, but it appeared one day. I was going to wear this creepy ass mask, but I don't think I'd be able to talk through it. So, yeah. So, the next thing I'm going to read to you guys is 31 Creepy Words and Other Short Horror Stories by Sean Allen. He is a Wattpad artist, not artist, but Wattpad author, and he's pretty talented. He, like it says, types creepy short horror stories. So the first one I'm going to read to you is Starlight, Star Bright. You see those stars up there? She looks up, back aching from their walk to the hilltops, away from the city. Yes, I do. Why are they going out? So yeah, these are all going to be really short, but they're creepy. This one's called Over My Dead Body. I look tired, worn out. It's been hard, but I didn't deserve this. I turn away, unable to keep looking. My body isn't meant to bend like that. And the blood. This one is called Daddy Dearest. Pick me a picture, darling. Okay, Mummy. Baby, it looks like that man's dead. Who is it? It's Daddy, silly. He is dead. How do you know? The shadows told me. This one is called Love You to Death. I love love you, he whispered, hugging her. She didn't answer, but he knew she felt it. She was always quiet now. Since that day, since he'd pushed her, since she died. This one is called Forever Love. Tell me, she said. Tell you what? You'll love me forever. I love you forever, my sweet. He pulled the knife from her heart, took a breath, and rammed it home into his. Death is forever. I'm gonna get an ad right here. Ever since WIP had added in ads, it's been so annoying. But yeah, I hope you like these stories. I always felt it would be good to support independent authors and whatnot. This one is called Today. Today is the day. Hope springs from me, a waterfall of possibility. I am empowered, fulfilled. The day when the world hears my cry and answers, wait, no. Who? When the demon bites, blood is the waterfall. Go away. This one is called Jeepers. Open your eyes, he said to her. He'd rushed to the bathroom to wake her from her nightmare. She'd been screaming. I can't, she cried. Why not? Because they stole them. Surprise! This one's called Surprise. Close your eyes. Why? She giggled. Just do it, please. Okay, she laughs, closing them tightly. But tell me why. Because I don't like you to be watched while I kill you. Got another ad. Okay. Breathe. This one's called Breathe. Stop breathing like that, I told him, poking his arm sharply. Like what? He asked, frowning. All raspy and deep, like you smoke 80 a day, I said, pulling a disgusted face. I'm not. This one is called Morning. Karen woke suddenly. She sat up in bed, stretching. Must have been a good night, she thought. I can't remember anything. Then she saw her body on the floor, and the blood. This one is called The Night, Part 1. The night moved, a shadow across the town, a blanket of darkness which swallowed the light as it drifted. The day had fought valiantly against its onslaught, but lost, as ever. This one is called The Night, Part 2. You walk along the deserted road. The town is far behind you, and your destination is far ahead. It meant to be a full moon, but there's no sign of it. The Night, Part 3. The sky is cloudless, so who stole the moon? You smile at yourself, at your nerves, at being silly. At least you tell yourself there's streetlights to keep you company. The Night, Part 4. You hear a faint clicking, but you ignore the sound. The late hour is playing with your jitters and jumbling them about in your stomach. The clicking noise continues. It's following you. This one is called The Poet. With words I smite, with a phrase I take flight, but my poetry cuts with an edge black as night. Dance with my thoughts I must, as my world turns to dust. This one is called Which Way? Choose. I can't. Choose. Me then, I choose me. Why? You said choose. Why? But I can't choose her. She lied, cheated, she killed your wife to get close. You lie, we never lie. Then her. She is now dead, Mr. Jackson. Wait, who? This one is called Bitten. It bit me. Oh, that's unfortunate. Was that before or after you caved its head in? Doesn't matter, I'm dead either way. I heard it's not infectious if it's after. Oh, I didn't. Brains! Okay. Sorry about that. Whispers. The light has failed, chasing my phone's battery to see which way would expire first. I can still feel the breath of the breeze on my cheek, but now I can hear the whispers. Sorry about that interruption. People still don't seem to know that my door means something. And I really wish I still lived by myself, but I can't now, so that's nice. This one is called Mirror, Mirror. Mirror, mirror, burning bright, while reflecting all my night, while reflecting all I've done, showing me my setting sun. In my eyes that you wear, reflected are my lies laid bare. Okay, now, time for my stories. Which one to tell you first? So, when I was a little girl, I lived in a haunted house. And the ghost that lived there wasn't an evil or malicious ghost or anything. I remember being a little kid, and I remember crying on my bed. And I don't remember why I was crying or anything. But I remember a woman, like, staying by my bed. She was telling me, "It's alright, don't cry. It'll be okay." And I tried to look up at her face, but I couldn't, like, make out any details. She had black hair, kind of like fluffy, kind of like mine, kind of. And she had, like, was wearing like a white gown or dress or anything. I don't remember that well, but it was kind of like a 1920s kind of dress, like that kind of style. And I remember trying to see her eyes, but like they were like shadowed kind of. And I stopped crying after that, but I was like talking to her. I don't remember what I said, but I was like just talking. But my mom came into my bedroom and was like, "Who are you talking to?" and stuff. And I was really confused because I thought this woman that I saw was my mom because they look kind of alike. And I was just like, "You were just in here, just kind of like that." My mom was like, "No, I wasn't." But she got mad and kind of left back into her room. So my mom, for her experiences, she would also see this woman as well, and she would also feel her, or she would be sleeping and then she'd wake up and like would catch a glimpse of this woman. But we never felt like alarmed by her or scared of her or anything. And our neighbor that we were renting the house from was sitting outside. My mom eventually decided to go talk to this woman and was like, "Hey, basically what went down was there's this we keep seeing this woman in our house," and my mom described her, and our landlord got like really distant by it, and she brought out a photo of the woman that my mom described, and was talking about how that's her sister and that she ran a home, that our home was at one point a house for women who were beaten, who were raped, who were abandoned, who were pregnant and like had nowhere to go. And that's why this woman was taking care of me and my mom because my dad was away fighting in Iraq. So we were alone and she decided to take care of us because of that. So I found it really kind of, because even after death, she still wanted to help people. And years later, after we left the house, I wonder if the people that live there now, if there are any that live there still, I wonder if they've seen her as well, or if they sensed her or anything. So, yeah. And another experience was from my little cousin. He at the time this happened, he was about 4, and he was in our grandma's house, and he was in the back room, like an addition to our house. It's not to our house, but my grandma's house. And he was back there, and he stood upright and was really freaked out by something. He came back in here, and my dad was like, "What's wrong?" And my little cousin was like, "There's a man with a hurt head back there." And me, my grandma, and my dad were kind of not freaked out, but kind of like, "Oh wow, that's creepy," because the way my cousin was describing this old man with the hurt head was my grandfather. My grandfather died back in 2008, and he had skin cancer that ate away a part of his face and a part of his ear. So there was like a hole right in this area. So of course Sawyer, my cousin, would be like, "Oh, a man with a hurt head." So since he died way before my cousin was born, he never knew who this guy was. So he was freaked out by it. And I found that kind of sad because I thought my grandpa had moved on, but he didn't, which is unfortunate, but So, that concludes the Halloween special. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you back with another video of whatever game I'm playing. Bye!